Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at something that has been making waves across communities in South Africa and beyond. Zimbabwean doctors and nurses working in South Africa have reportedly started providing free medical treatment for their fellow Zimbabwean nationals. Please listen until the end so you can hear the sources and try to verify the news for yourself. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more updates like this one. Now, the healthcare sector in South Africa has been under massive pressure for years, with rising patient numbers, underfunded facilities, and ongoing debates about foreign nationals' access to public healthcare. Against this backdrop, the news that Zimbabwean doctors and nurses are offering free medical services to their countrymen living in South Africa has brought both praise and criticism. For many Zimbabweans who find themselves without medical aid and unable to afford private healthcare, this initiative comes as a lifeline. The report suggests that these professionals, many of whom are already part of South Africa's healthcare workforce, have taken it upon themselves to provide voluntary medical consultations, basic treatment, and in some cases even referrals, without charging a fee. Their focus appears to be on serving Zimbabwean migrants who are struggling financially or who fear going to state hospitals due to their undocumented status. For the people receiving this care, the initiative has been described as nothing short of life-saving. Many of them live in communities where basic healthcare is simply out of reach. With chronic illnesses like hypertension and diabetes requiring ongoing treatment, and infectious diseases like tuberculosis still affecting many, access to free care is a serious relief. But as with most things in South Africa involving migration and healthcare, it has also sparked heated conversations. Some local voices argue that these initiatives show how desperate the situation has become, with migrants creating their own support networks because of systemic exclusion. Others worry about whether such care meets the regulatory and professional standards required, since voluntary setups may not always be subject to the same oversight as formal clinics. Still, the broader public response seems to lean towards admiration for these doctors and nurses who are giving their time and skills to help those in need. In fact, a few community leaders have pointed out that these efforts are also indirectly easing the burden on already strained South African facilities. By treating their fellow nationals outside the public system, these professionals may be preventing further overcrowding in state hospitals. It's also worth noting that the story has created ripple effects in Zimbabwe itself. Some commentators there have highlighted that it exposes just how many of the country's medical professionals have left in search of better pay and opportunities. At the same time, it raises questions about what Zimbabwe is doing to address its own healthcare crisis, which is driving people across the border in the first place. The South African government has not formally commented on the reports, but healthcare officials are likely watching closely. Any initiative that affects medical practice will always be looked at through the lens of safety, legality, and long-term impact. Whether these efforts will be formalized into community health projects or continue as grassroots volunteer networks remains to be seen. For now, one thing is certain. The compassion shown by these doctors and nurses has been welcomed by those who need it most. In communities where people often feel forgotten, this gesture has reminded them that sometimes, your own people step in when the system fails. On a lighter note, South Africans love to say, a friend in need is a friend indeed. Well, in this case, it's more like a doctor in need is a doctor indeed. I know that's not the best joke, but at least it's healthier than skipping your checkup, right? If you enjoyed this update, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss future news, and share your thoughts in the comments. All images used in this video are for illustration purposes only. News sources: Sunday World, The Zimbabwe Mail, Health 24, SABC News.